what we were talking about.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
We're gonna smoke again in a little while and start playing the game. I'm not in a huge rush for it because I'm super faded still. But the plan is to try to do some zombies, guys. Try to do a little bit of zombies, zombie bombers. You already know. It's gonna be a vibe. We don't got the.
Good morning. People probably gonna be in here in a little bit. I know it's kind of early. I've been up. Good morning. I've been up for about 2 hours. I've been just taking bone grips, just chilling this morning. Doing a little bit of work, not much, just a little bit.
I want you to think about this here. In your entire lifetime, how much money has gone through your hands? How much? Let me explain to you what I mean by this. Maybe you made $73,000 last year at 28 years old. And the first time you got a check was 14 years old, it was $100.
Good morning.
Add that whole thing up. You'll come out with a number, $493,000 or $1.9 million or $6.3 million, depending on who is watching this video. The question is this: how much is left in your wallet? Truly, what is in your wallet? Not what's in your wallet with capital choice. I'm talking like really, what's in your wallet? What do you have left? How much savings do you have left? And if you're not too happy with this question, it's very simple. The reason why you don't have a lot of money left is because you don't know how to play the money game. Simple as that. So today in this video, I'll cover with you 20 rules of money. These are rules of money that I followed, and it's obviously from a lot of mistakes I made because there was a point in my life where I had made money and there was nothing left in my pocket. So I'm telling you from experiences. But rule number one is the most important one, and it's the one you have to buy into immediately. It's very simple. You can fight it, say whatever you want to do to it. It's a rule. And a rule is, it's a game. Money is a game. And the great thing about any game is the following thing. No matter what game you play, the most eventually get good at it. If I've never played chess and I play you and you played 100 times chess, you're probably going to beat me. If I have played Monopoly 1,000 times and you play 3 times, I'm probably going to beat you because it's a game. So the great thing about the money game is it can be learned. So many times people fight it and they have problems with it. And they say, well, you know, that person became rich because they're smart. This person did this. No. They learned the game, and you can also take the time to learn the game. Rule number 2 is don't be a hater of money. If you hate money, you'll never get money because money doesn't like haters. So if you're a hater and you constantly say things like, well, money doesn't grow on trees, and money is this, and money is that, and rich people are this, you're right. Money says, you're right. I'm not turned on by you. It's almost as if going on a date with an attractive girl and telling the girl that you don't like attractive girls who don't know a lot about philosophy and all they care about is their looks and doing makeup and doing this and working out and going to the gym. And this girl's like, dude, I put makeup on. I work out every day to stay in shape. But I also like other things in my life. But you know what? You're right. You're not attracted to me. I don't like you. She goes and finds another guy that says, I like a girl that takes care of her body. I like a girl that takes care of her skin. I like a girl that does makeup. I like a girl that works out 5 days a week. She's attracted to that guy. Keep that part of mind. Don't be a hater with money.
Just taking some massive bone grips this morning. This is best piece I ever bought. It ain't close. This is better than the first one. This is better than the second one. This is it right here.
What is
and look, listen to this.
The entire game of money is about doubling your
plexiglass.
Money. So what do you mean doubling your money? Let me explain it to you this way. If you right now have $1,000 in your bank account, If you're watching this, you have $1,000 cash. You are 10 doubles away from $1 million. That's it. You're 5 doubles away from having $32,000. You're 10 doubles away from having $8.192 million. You're 14 doubles away from $16 million. It's a double game. So how soon can you double your money? That's truly the game. Can you take that $1,000 and double it to $2,000 in the next year? So the next thing is, now it's $2,000 you have an account. Now you are 9 steps away from $1 million. You may say, Pat, I already have $100,000 in my account. Well, guess what? You're 4 doubles, 3 doubles away from $1 million. All you got is, it's a doubles game. This is a piece of cake when you learn it's a doubles game. So the question then becomes what? How soon, this is the real game of doubles. It becomes 2 different things. Risk tolerance, because you got to know yourself when it comes to money. Your risk tolerance, depending on the age you're at, if you're 65, your risk tolerance is going to be lower than you being 22 years old, right? So you have your risk tolerance, you need to know you. Then the other part is time horizon. What is your time horizon? So time horizon could be, I want to have $1 million by 10 years from now. Great. If it's 10 years, what do you have right now? Then you have to play your doubles game. How many doubles do I have with the $17,000 to get to $1 million? It's a simple game that you can learn what to do. As long as you know your risk tolerance, you know your time horizon, what it is and what the amount is, then you're playing the doubles game. Number 4, seduction. Let me explain to you about seduction, okay? Listen, I use the analogy with ladies because it's just how it is, okay? Money likes to be seduced. Money's attracted to seducers. Just like a woman doesn't like a desperate man, money doesn't like desperate people. Money's not attracted to desperate people who want it so bad because they want to make this money show it off to everybody. No. Money's seduced. You need to seduce money. Seduce money. And all of a sudden money says, ooh, I like this guy. I like this girl. Oh my gosh, I'm turned on to you. Don't let money seduce you. You seduce money. It's a seduction game. So whoever learns a seduction game with money, all of a sudden money starts coming from all over the place to you because money is turned on by people that know exactly what they're doing. Money likes investors who know what they're doing. Okay, a girl goes on a date with a guy that knows what he's doing. She's most likely to come back, right. And then there is experience. So right. Learn how to seduce money. Once you learn this whole thing, you'll get better at this game as well. Next, timing. Timing when it comes down to money. Let me explain about timing. I'm not talking timing like this is the best time to invest into Snapchat or this is the best time to buy the IPO of Facebook and etc. I'm not talking that timing. Although that's a whole different conversation with timing. Timing, I'm talking about running a business. I'll give you an idea. There was a time where logically I have to cut down, okay, in my business. And I have to get rid of 2 or 3 employees. Logically, I have to cut down. But I knew what I was getting ready to do.
Everybody who's going to come back and watch this live stream later, some of my live streams are kind of chill. Some of them, I have a lot to say. This morning, it's not going to be one in the ladder. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I love you guys. Appreciate all the support. I genuinely appreciate the fact that you guys are willing to see me win, that you guys want me. Because guess what? I want y'all to win too. And y'all going to. You just got to find your niche. Find that one thing that you're good at that can be a service to somebody else or to a multitude of somebody else's.
Again, if a girl is bored with you, she leaves you because you're too boring. Same with men. If a man is bored with a girl, they're going to leave because it's boring. Money doesn't like to be bored. What do I mean?
Getting up early, doing what I gotta do to get things done. Going to sleep rather early so I can do the same thing continuously. But now I'm on second shift, which means I need to do the same things,
so you gotta make sure
but a little later.
Money's always moving for you, always moving for you, always moving for you, always working for you.
I appreciate these early mornings.
Next,
the time spent with me.
Secret account.
And best believe.
You always gotta have a secret account. Let me tell you what a secret account is.
If the situation arises, there will be more of them.
Mom, dad, brother, sister.
But it's gonna be a whole lot of late night streams now.
What is
what I'm saying? Like
it's a crisis
1 o'clock,
account.
2 o'clock.
A crisis account could be cash.
12.
A crisis account could be somewhere sitting down that no one knows.
It's just like I'm dead so early, man, because this new job I have, I was working first shift to start training, and
I'm talking crisis accounts.
that has more or less had me up at these kind of hours, literally working, doing something to keep my body moving. I'm not sleeping. I'm literally up at work. So the roles are about to be reversed. So yeah, with that being said, I love you guys. Like with everything, I love you guys. And everything's about to get a whole lot more consistent, a whole lot more entertaining, and a whole lot more added value to this channel and to the rest of the three. So I love you guys. Let's keep this thing pushing.
I see so many people spending $2,000 on a flight where they can spend $400. Listen, I'm 6'4", 6'5", 240, and do you know how many times people I pay for first class? Zero. I don't pay first class. Other people pay for my first class, but I don't pay first class. I've been paid first class. I've flown first class many, many times because I have the miles or people pay for my flight. I don't pay first class. And why is that? Here's how I did the math. Now, obviously, I can afford to do it, no problem. But here's how I did the math. You're trying to tell me $2,000 for a first class flight, and I can get $500 for the same flight. That's $1,500 times 9 flights in a month. That's 9,000. That's 9 times what? $1,500 is $13,500. Some number like that. You know what I can do with that number? That's 4 employees. That's marketing. That's expansion. There's over a year. That's $200,000, $180,000. Why am I going to waste that money? That's an executive I can bring in. That's 2 incredible employees I can bring in. I don't pay first class. Other people pay first class. Once you get $10 million and you want to do it, that's great. At that point, you may want to get yourself a private jet, but don't fly first class. Next, comp plan. Let me explain to you what I mean by comp plan. So, no matter what country you live in, okay, I get emails from 100+ countries around the world, and some of you guys and I talk through your communistic system, how you're upset, and you ask me what to do, and I tell you, if it's not going to change, you have to leave. You have to leave a communistic regime you're a part of. Some of you are in socialistic places, France, Texas, Spain.
Yeah, y'all see that over there.
Taxes being at where it's at, and
sometimes you got to invest in you first. Sometimes you got to invest in you first.
Rule number 1 about your comp
before you can invest in others. Make sure you're good, and then you can make sure everybody else is good while still making sure you're good. You know what I'm saying? So, you got to know what and who to invest in.
I can't believe the tax structure in America benefits business owners. And why is it that they benefit business owners? Because
this is
business owners create jobs. If you created jobs, we'd give you a tax benefit. If there wasn't a tax benefit and incentive for business owners,
grip right there.
Then who's going to create jobs for all these millions of people that need jobs? So you may say, well, Pat, if incentives for business owners should not be a business owner, yes. Every single episode, somebody be coming out.
Got a few roaches over there. I got to definitely make some more, but yeah, I got to get some more too. But yeah. Yep.
And position yourself properly by knowing what your comp plan is.
Don't worry. The streams are going to be a little bit brighter. I just need that space right here for a second.
MSNBC, Fox, Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, whatever these names you want to go through, all of these names, put them all together. You know what they get paid to do? They get paid to sell prices. Because if it happens, you got to be ready for it. Okay? And so what happens a lot of times is people get afraid. And they think it's the end of the world. And like the 2008, when the market crisis took place, the market went all the way down to 6,000 some. Dow Jones did. Everybody started pulling their money out. It's at $21,000 today, 21,000 points today. Imagine if you left the money in. How much compounding money was lost? Simply because you thought it was the end of the world. Simply because you thought there was a nuclear war that was going to happen all over the world. By the way, let me explain to you. If truly a nuclear war is going to happen, do you really think your money matters? Come on. We're not going to exist. So you got to act as if there's no nuclear war that's going to take place and panic so much when everybody tells you everything. And you got to learn how to manage those times when 90% of the world thinks it's the end of the world. You got to be ready. So how do you do that? Let me explain. I was part of the community that said it's always the end of the world until I realized how you become wealthy is during this time. During this time when it's the end of the world, you know who wins? Those who have cash. This is why it's important to have cash set aside. And I'm not talking boredom money. I'm talking cash set aside when it's the end of the world for you to buy stuff. Every time crisis takes place, a lot of people become wealthy. A lot of people become wealthy because everything's on sale. Everything's on sale when there's crisis. People sell their exotics because they can't afford it. People sell their artwork for 1/5 of the price. Homes sell for 1/2 of the price. Investments, all these things is for sale during the time when there's the end of the world type of mentality. I don't know if it is going to tank in the next 2-3 years. Here's what I do know. It's going to tank in the next 20 years, and I'm ready for it. I have to be ready for it because there's going to be opportunities. You also got to be ready for it. Number 11, study your politicians, especially your president. Let me explain to you why. You got to know what your politician in your local community is going to do and what their philosophies are. Here's why you need to know their philosophies. If their philosophy is to do heavy-duty taxing on you, you need to adjust accordingly. If their philosophy is to cut down taxes, you need to adjust accordingly. People ask me, what am I going to do with Trump? Start will be cut. We'll make you millions of dollars the next 4 years. And if it's 8 years, go make your money. And adjust. Everything's about adjustment. But you can't not know what their philosophies are. You need to know the philosophies of the politicians in your community. Number 12, study smart investors, but don't be too religious about them. Like, for instance, you ought to read everything Warren Buffett's got. Read every single thing Warren Buffett's got. Every single thing. Read any of the books that he's got, go read them. Because what he's going to teach you is his way of thinking, his mindset. He's going to teach you the way he's thinking. Like some people say, why did Warren Buffett spend $35 million to buy silver 6 years ago? And why did he all of a sudden? Why does he not do any technology and stays away with it? You know, why does he? These are philosophies. The thing that you got to respect about Warren Buffett, when he says, I don't do technology, he didn't do technology. So he stuck to a philosophy long enough until it worked. Study smart investors. Number 13. Play your game. Don't compare. Let me explain. This is extremely problematic to a lot of people because let's just say on this doubles game, you're here. And let's just say your cousin is here. Why are you comparing yourself to him? You need to play your doubles game. Let's say you're here. Let's say your best friend is here. It's not the same game. He's 4 doubles ahead of you. It's not the same game. You just got to make sure you play your game. You can't say I'm going to play my game at the level of what the other guys are, because when you do it that way, you make reckless decisions and you lose a double. You don't want to lose doubles. You want to gain doubles. I don't know. I hope I'm making sense to you. You don't want to go backwards. And anytime you focus on this guy, you sometimes go backwards. Focus on your game. Focus on your strategies. Focus on your time horizon. Focus on your risk tolerance and play according to that game. Your vision may not be to be a billionaire. Your vision may not be to go out there and do something very big. Your vision may not be to be a person that's got $150 million. Your vision may not be to be a decamillionaire. Your vision may be, I want to one day have $2 million. That's all good. Play to that game and put a plan next to it. Play to that game, but don't constantly compare yourself to other people. Okay, next, index. A lot of people say, well, as long as you beat the index. Okay, as long as you beat the index. I am more concerned of beating my goals than I am about beating the index. I'm not worried about beating the index. I'm worried about beating my goal. What is my goal? What is the deadline? I want to beat that number because it's mine. That's what I'm committed to. What is my deadline? I'm committed to this. I'm not committed to the index. I'm committed to this. Maybe I need to do a lot more than what the index is doing because this is why I'm in business. In business, I can control the amount of growth I'm going to have on my income. I can't control if I'm studying just the index and the index is going 11.9%. I beat it 2.3%, but that's going to take me a long time for me to get over here. No. Play your game. Beat your goals instead of trying to beat the index only. 15. Befriend moneymakers. I'll tell you why befriend moneymakers that you trust. If you're around other people that know how to make money, you're going to make money. It's just kind of how things work out. If you're around people that know how to make money, you're generally going to make money. If you're around people that don't even know how to make money or don't even make a lot of money, you're not going to make a lot of money. You know, so know who you're going into business with, know who you're doing things with. Sometimes things seem too sweet or sexy and all this stuff, but you don't know the person. I don't touch any of that stuff. It's important for me to know who I'm going to be doing business with. I hire very slowly, very slow. I fire very fast. The moment I'm done with somebody, boom, gone. 4 people we employ fire in a day, no problem. I can't do this. The tolerance is not in the right place. We can't do this. We need to move on. But I hire slowly, especially the higher up it is. The more I travel with the person to get to know. Same exact thing when it comes down to here. Whoever you're going to do business with, befriend them. Travel with them. If somebody's extremely wealthy, go to dinner with them. Get to know their wife. See how they're around their kids. Kind of see their standards of living. See their discipline. See their behavior. And then say, I like this person. I like what their friends say about him. I like how his cousins are. I like how this is a person I can do money and business with. Number 16. Diversification is for absolute sissies. Okay? So if you're a sissy and your risk tolerance is very low, it's okay. It's okay to be a sissy. A lot of people are sissies. But if you truly want to create wealth and you're wondering why in your lifetime you've worked for 17 years and you don't have a single penny and you made $617,000, yet you only have $6,000 to show for it, there's a problem there. There's a problem there. What is the problem? Diversification is a great concept to sell for the expert financial financial advisors that are playing every single thing safe and all these other things. Yes. Now,
I'm almost done.
for those of you that are watching this and you're 73
gas
years old,
I'm literally almost done with it
for you. You already have hit your goal of $6 million and you're where you're at. You're 62 years old. I respect the fact that you've already hit your numbers. That's solid. Risk tolerance lower, time horizon lower. Okay, you're playing a different game. I'm talking mainly for the people that are in the offensive mode of their life, that you're trying to get here. Maybe you're around this market. I'm not talking to the people that are here. I'm talking to the people that are here. You're trying to get your doubles to go quickly, faster. If you just rely on diversification, 20, 30, 40 years, well, then you just got to know that it's going to take 40 years. It's going to take 30 years. Maybe. That's if everything goes the way it's supposed to be going. So I don't recommend just relying on diversification to take you to where you want to get to. 17. The game is about leverage. Everything is leverage. Now, let me explain what leverage means. I'm not saying leverage going to debt with everything. I'm not talking leverage like that. I'm talking leverage, period. What can leverage be? Leverage your business. How can you grow your business if you're running a business? How can you leverage to have more support? How can you leverage to sell more? How can you leverage to expand more? How can you leverage to increase the value of business more? How can you leverage to market yourself more? How can you leverage to get to the customer faster? How can you leverage to increase the speed of growth in your business? How can you leverage to get certain things going? How can you leverage? Everything is a leverage game. Everything is a leverage game. And the more you study the concept of leverage and the game, how it works, the better it is for your wealth. Number 18, positioning. Positioning has to do with, for instance, I'll tell you what positioning is. We can do a whole thing on positioning, but I'm just going to give it in a shorter sense. Positioning. If I'm going to go work at a company and I'm going to have a piece of the equity and I'm going to position myself to own a piece of that company, it's going to go public, that's smart positioning. That's very, very smart positioning. Tom over here, who's our president, Tom created his wealth by positioning. He went and positioned himself in certain places and participated in the victory by owning a piece, and he positioned himself. Sometimes it's positioning. Sometimes it's who you're running with. A lot of times people say, well, I'm making great income with this company I'm at. Yeah, but you haven't positioned yourself because there's no backing on the equity. So it's positioning. You got to also position yourself here to make sure you're taking care of that part, right? Of course, you got to take care of your credit. You got to high income, savings, investments, but you got to make sure you position yourself properly as well. Number 19. Strategic partnerships. Strategic partnerships. The more you can create an environment, it's kind of similar to befriend money makers, but this is slightly different because it's intentional. If you can figure, like what we do with our company, is we have strategic partnerships where a lot of people make money. Okay? The more people make money, the more people continue to do business with you. If there's strategic partnerships. I have strategic partnerships with $400 billion companies, $200 billion companies, $60 billion companies. I have strategic partnerships with a lot of different companies that benefits them, okay? Strategic partnership increases the value of making money because a lot more people are making money with you when they go into business with you. Last but not least, big check syndrome. Let me tell you what the big check syndrome is. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many people screw this whole thing up, and I'll just explain to you what it is. So, for instance, say you are doing a real estate, hypothetically, okay? And all of a sudden, you get this one client wants you to sell their home. It's a $3 million home. I'm just throwing numbers out there. And you go and sell this $3 million home, and the check is $100-some thousand that you get. And you say, oh my gosh, I made $100,000. And for 2 months, you live as if you made $100,000 in a month. What you don't realize is that $100,000 check in a month, you need to look at it as an $8,300 a month income for that year. That's what that means. It's not $100,000. And I've seen so many people who treat this as $100,000 in a month, and they get cocky, arrogant, all this stuff, and then they go back to right here. And their double goes lower and lower and lower. And they don't realize it's just a big payday. Let me explain. Would you rather have, right now, a $500,000 cash I give you? Watch this question, you can answer. Would you rather take a $500,000, okay, given to you, up front, I'm going to give you $500,000, or would you rather take an income stream, guaranteed, okay, of $100,000 over 20 years? Which one would you take? $500,000 up front, $100,000 over 20 years. Which one would you take? You know what, believe it or not, most people will say, well, I think the right answer is $100,000. Most people would take $500,000. Let me tell you why the $100,000 allows you to do more. The $100,000 is $2 million. The $500,000 is $500,000. See, this gives me the opportunity to have a stronger backing to make bigger decisions to get bigger doubles. Now, you may say, Pat, but $500,000, That already puts me here. It's irrelevant if you don't know how to play the money game. It's irrelevant if you don't know how to play the money game. I want high income as well. I want income coming in that feeds my game so I can increase my net worth. This is a very, very important game. So don't get too crazy about big check syndrome and all of a sudden fall for it and lose everything that you got, because it can totally mess up with your net worth and you work all the way back to your doubles.
Decide exactly what you want in every key area of your life. This will immediately set you apart from 80 or 90% of the population. The most important word that I have found in success is clarity. Clarity, clarity. Successful people are very clear about what they want. And here's an interesting discovery. The greater clarity you have, the faster you draw into your life the resources necessary to achieve it. So in determining what you want, there's an activity that I teach to the senior executives of billion-dollar corporations, and it's called idealization. Number one, start off by idealizing your perfect life. You imagine that there are no limitations on what you can do or be or have. Imagine that you have all the time and all the money. You have all the friends and all the contacts, all the education and all the experience that you need to accomplish any goal that you could set for yourself. If your life was perfect in every area, what would it look like? Now, here's the point before we go into the 4 areas. The fear of not achieving your goal, what we call self-limiting beliefs, holds you back more than anything else. And your self-limiting beliefs are not based on reality. That's why you have to constantly think, if I had no limitations,
This shit that completely fell apart. Like,
so let's start with the 4 big areas. The first area has to do with your income and your business and your career. If your income, business, career was perfect 5 years from now,
one of those
how much
boys.
would you be earning? What kind of work would you be doing? Who would you be working with?
Oh, yeah.
What position would you have in your business? We call this the creation of a 5-year fantasy. Just fantasize like a child prior to Christmas. Just imagine that you could create your world perfectly, and what would it look like? And then here's the key question. What would you have to do? What would have to happen? What would be the first step that you would have to take today to begin creating your perfect business and career future? If your goal is to double and triple your income, what is the first step that you would have to take right now? And here's a great discovery. Everybody knows the first step. The first step is clear. Confucius said, a journey of 1,000 leagues begins with a single step. The fact is, the hardest part of success is taking the first step in the direction that you want to go. Remember that. That's what holds most people back. Now, the second area has to do with your family and your relationships. If you could project forward 5 years and your life was perfect, what kind of relationships would you have? What kind of lifestyle would you have? Where would you live? What would you want to do on vacations? What would you want to create for yourself and your family? And remember, clarity is important. Then come back to the present and think into the future and say, what would have to happen starting today for me to create that perfect future? And what would be the first step? The third area has to do with your health. If your health was perfect in every way, sometime in the future, how would it be different from today? How much would you weigh? How much would you exercise? How much energy would you have? How much time would you take off to rest? If your personal life and health and energy was perfect in every way, how would it be different from today? And what would have to happen to make that come true? And what would be your first step? Now, the last area has to do with your net worth, what we call financial freedom. How much do you want to be able to save and accumulate in the course of your working lifetime? Remember this, your likelihood of achieving your lifelong financial goals increased by 10 times by the very act of writing the number down on a piece of paper. This is so important. The next stage, number 2, is to write it down. Remember we talked about clarity? Francis Bacon once says that writing maketh an exact man. Is when you write your goals down clearly, they take on a power of their own in your mind. You pull them out of the air where they have no substance at all, and you write them down on paper, and now you have something you can touch. Your goals must be in writing. Many people say, oh, I know exactly what I want. And I've met and worked with these people over the years, and you know something? They're almost all failures. They say, I know what I want, I don't have to write it down. Yes, you do, because until you start writing, we find that there's an incredible connection between the head and the hand. And when you start to write goals, you'll be absolutely astonished what comes out on the paper. And when you write a goal down, you engage in what is called a psychoneuromotor activity. You activate your visual powers, your audio powers, and your kinesthetic powers. And whatever you write down, you actually program straight into your subconscious mind, where it starts to work 24 hours a day. Great stuff, let me tell you. Now, your goals must be clear, specific, detailed, and measurable. You must write out your goals as if you were placing an order for your goal to be manufactured in a factory at a great distance. And what they would do is they would create your goal, your order, and send it to you exactly as you wrote it down. A goal is something that is written down and specific and clear, and your most important goal must be measurable so you know exactly where you are relative to the goal. Now, number 3, set a deadline. Now, your subconscious mind uses deadlines as forcing systems. They drive you consciously and unconsciously toward achieving your goal on schedule. Aeneas Nin once said that your subconscious can work against you because when you set a big goal, you're disrupting your subconscious. So your subconscious mind will tell you that it's not possible and will attempt to sabotage you. And you know the way your subconscious mind sabotages you? It tells you, you can't achieve this goal. You don't need to write it down. It's okay, as long as you know where it is. Because of the fear of failure, what you do is you don't write the goal down, and that way you can't fail. Isn't that clever? And people say, well, if you don't expect anything good, you'll never be disappointed. And these people have no future. You write it down as if by writing it down, it was guaranteed to you. And in many cases, it will be if you write it down. If your goal is big enough, set sub-deadlines. If you want to achieve financial independence, you may set a 10 or 20-year goal and then break it down year by year so that you know how much you have to save and invest each year. If for some reason you don't achieve your goal by the deadline, simply set a new deadline. There are no unreasonable goals, only unreasonable deadlines. Now, the 4th key in the 12-step method is to identify the obstacles that you'll have to overcome to achieve your goal. You see, between you and any goal that you want to accomplish, there are obstacles. There's something that's holding you back, or you'd already be there. So always ask this question, why aren't you already at your goal? The things that are holding you back are usually the lack of a skill, the lack of a quality like self-discipline, or the lack of a particular knowledge or skill, all of which you can learn or acquire. Only 20% of the reasons you are not achieving your goals are on the outside, so always start with yourself. Now, the 5th key is to identify the knowledge, information, and skills you will need to achieve your goal. Remember, to achieve a goal that you've never achieved before, you're going to have to learn things and do things you've never done before. You cannot achieve anything more than you're achieving today with the same level of knowledge and skill that you have today. If you could, you'd already have done it. So identify the skills that you'll have to develop to be in the top 10% of your field. Identify the most important skill, and then identify the number 1 skill. Now, here's a great discovery. Your weakest key skill sets the height of your income and your success. Your weakest key skill, and improving or bringing up that 1 weak skill or acquiring that 1 weak skill will enable you to make more progress than any other factor at the moment. You can make more progress by going to work on the 1 skill that is holding you back more than any other factor. So ask this question. What one key skill, if you developed and did it in an excellent fashion, would have the greatest positive impact on your life? What one skill, if you developed and did it consistently in an excellent fashion,
It's kicking
would
my
help you
ass.
the most to achieve
So,
your most important goal? Whatever the skill, write it down, make a plan, and work on it every day. Sometimes your major goal is the development of the skill necessary to achieve your major goal. And this is a life-changing insight, by the way. Number 6, identify the people whose help and cooperation you will require to achieve your goal. Remember, nobody does it alone unless you run a shoe shine stand or deliver papers. To be successful, you need the help of lots of people. So identify the people whose help and cooperation you will require to achieve your goal. Who are they? Make a list of every person in your life that you'll have to work with or work around to achieve your goal. Start with the members of your family whose cooperation and support you will require, especially your spouse. List your boss and co-workers and subordinates, because you'll have to work with them and they'll have to work with you to be successful. Especially identify the customers and people on the outside whose support you will need to sell enough of your product or service to make the kind of money that you want. Once you've identified the key people whose help you will require, ask yourself this question: what's in it for them? Be a go-giver rather than a go-getter. Now, to achieve big goals, you'll have to have the help and support of lots of people. One key person at a certain time and place in your life can make all the difference. The most successful people are those who build and maintain the largest networks of other people
I'm done with
who they
this.
can help and who can help them in return. Listen,
When you get done with these, save them.
Here's what we've discovered.
You can need them
The more
later.
people you know
But
and
you know what?
know you in a positive way, the
I'm a
more
little tired.
successful you'll be in
I'm
virtually
gonna probably
every
go
part of
ahead
your
and get
life.
me some
It's
sleep.
an amazing discovery.
And I'll see y'all
Number
later.
7,
Peace and
make a
love.
list of everything
LoadedMikey
you will have
signing
to
out.
do to
Make
achieve
sure
your
y'all
goal.
tune in to all the
We
rest
say
of the
that
channels.
writing
The
out
links
a
are in my
list
description.
transforms your
I hope
thinking
y'all have
in
a
the
good
most
rest of y'all day, and I love
positive
y'all
and
so
powerful
much.
way. Combine